And as you come to that comfy sitting position, just think about what you need to do. Have a little wiggle of your bottom back into your seat, and then bring your spine to the upright. You might have a little wiggle and ease of your shoulders. And a couple of sighing out breaths to let yourself arrive. Take a moment, closing your eyes, to arrive, allowing the busyness of this morning, anything that's already been going on in your house, in your world, just letting all of that ease away. Giving yourself permission to be here for your yoga practice. That time away from other busyness and distractions. And take a moment to notice how your body feels, anything that feels tight, anything you know you'd like to ease and soften. And know that it's absolutely fine to spend a little bit longer in some of the easing positions if they're the right ones for you. It's also absolutely fine to come out of those positions earlier than I say. Only you know how your muscles and your joints feel. Everything that I'm offering is a suggestion and an offer, not an instruction of you have to. It's a explore and see what feels okay. So also be aware of anything that might feel sore, anything that feels a little bit injured. And know that there are always different modifications for things that feel sore, but also just not working quite as hard on those areas to give them a little bit of a break, really. Super. So be aware of your breath. Notice as you breathe in, your ribs move. And be very focused with that part of your body just for a moment. 2 or 3 in and out breaths, noticing that your ribs move. So there's that movement of the side of the ribs towards your upper arms. There's the movement of the front of the chest that lifts and comes forwards a little bit. But there's also that sense of expansion across your upper back. And then after 2 or 3 in and out breaths where you're focusing your breath into your ribs, then take the breath to the very bottom part of your lungs so you notice that it's your abdomen that moves. So the breath is deeper, deeper into the lungs. It feels like you breathe into your tummy. We know that we don't, but because the diaphragm is pushing down, it makes everything in the abdomen move a little. Super. So we begin to establish our resting breath that becomes a little bit slower, a little bit softer, a little bit longer. After your next out breath, gently opening your eyes. As you breathe in, taking your arms wide away from your body, but low down, not too high up. And then as you breathe out, the soft floaty arms come up just in front of your face, crossing your wrists at one in front of the other, breathing in, arms wide and low, breathing out, bringing the arms up, and crossing your wrists the other way round, breathing in, arms wide and low, breathing out, crossing at the wrist. So alternating which wrist is in front as you breathe out and bring the arms in front of you. Breathing in, arms go a little bit wide. Super. Going at your breathing speed, my arms are just moving to remind you what to do. Your movement could be faster, it could be slower, it just depends on your breath length. Super. Just checking in with how your shoulders are feeling, a gentle little movement. Lovely. So next in breath, we're going to take the arms a little bit higher up, a little bit further backwards, so your chest lifts and comes forwards a touch. And then as you breathe out, hands to the tummy. Breathing in, arms wide, breathing out, hands to the tummy, and alternating which hand comes on top. I'm just going to turn sideways so you can see a little bit. So as you take your arms wide, little bit of a lift of the chest, and then the upper back comes back to the upright as you breathe out. So a little bit of a lift, noticing that we can get some movement into the upper back as we breathe in and take the arms wide. Lovely. Changing the arm movement a little bit as we breathe in, so we come up nearer to shoulder height, and as we breathe out, we bring the hands to the heart center. Breathe in, arms at shoulder height. Breathe out, hands to the heart center. You can alternate which hand comes on top if you want to. Fantastic. And making that little, we call it a shadow of a back bend, and a touch deeper. So a little bit deeper in that upper back bend. Be careful it's not here that you're curving in your back, that it's more into the upper back. So imagine the crown of your head lifting up to the ceiling as well as you breathe in and take the arms wide. Lovely. So an in-breath takes your arms wide. Out-breath, you bring your hands to the heart center. Have an in-breath here. And then with your next out-breath, bringing your arms forwards, palms facing up. And then an in-breath, you bring the hands to the heart center. So breathing out, arms come forwards, and breathing in, hands come to the heart center. It's like when you're breathing out, you're giving back. And as you breathe in, you're drawing things in towards you, whatever it is that you need. So an out breath, arms reach forwards. In breath, hands come to the heart center. Have an out breath here. Next in breath, arms come up, a little lift of the chest. You might look to the ceiling. And then in out breath, you're curling forwards. So you're curling the upper back, palms face down, breathing in, lifting up. If you want to look up, you can, you don't have to. Be careful with the back of your neck. Breathing out, curling forwards a little bit, breathing in, and taking the arms up. So encouraging the movement to be in your upper back. Lovely. Next, in breath, the arms go up, bring the palms of your hands together, breathe out, lower your arms down. Breathe in, arms wide and all the way up. Palms together, breathe out, bring your arms down. Breathe in, arms wide and all the way up. Breathe out, bring the hands down. One last one, breathing in, arms wide and all the way up. And breathing out, bringing the hands down. So we're going to lean forward onto our knees. I actually need something underneath my feet. This chair is too big for me. So leaning forward onto your knees. I'm going to turn sideways with this one actually to show you. If you tuck, so if you've got your right arm resting on your legs, and you tuck your left arm into your lower back, and you have an in-breath, and then with an out-breath, you're turning your chest, your shoulders to the left, and in-breath, returning yourself back to look down at your toes. Breathing out, turning the chest and the shoulders to the left, and breathing in, returning back to that start position where you can look at your toes. So encouraging a little bit of movement into the spine wherever the body wants to go. Just turn back to face forwards again. So when it feels okay to turn and then hold that turned position, you've got your right elbow resting on your right thigh. You could have a little bit of a push of your right elbow into your right thigh to turn the body slightly more. If you want to, you can take your arm from behind your lower back and reach your left arm up to the ceiling. So the more you reach up to the ceiling, the more you lighten the load in your right elbow, and you're looking over to the left. Super. And then bring your left arm, tuck it into your lower back, turn your body back to centre so you can look at your big toes, and swap your arms. So your left arm comes onto your thighs, your hand is on one thigh, your elbow on the other, you've got your right arm tucked into your lower back. Have an in-breath, with an out-breath, gently turning the chest and the shoulders towards the right, and breathing in, come back to centre, looking at your big toes. Breathing out, having a gentle turn. Breathing in, coming back to centre, looking at your big toes. Then a couple of those to see how everything's moving in the spine. So it's always fine to stay with any of the stages. The dynamic stage where you're moving might suit your spine more. You could turn and hold that twisting in your spine and take the right hand from behind your back and reach for the ceiling. And as you lift your hand up to the ceiling, notice you can get a little bit of lightness into the arm that's resting on the legs. Super. And then slowly bring your right arm into your lower back. Turn to look back down towards your big toes. And bring both hands, one onto each knee, so you can lift the chest and the gaze and then come up to sitting. So if we stay with hands on knees, you can have, imagine your little tail. I know we haven't got one, but imagine you've got a little tail. You're going to stick it out behind you and then lift the chest and the gaze and breathe in. And as you breathe out, it's like you're tucking your little tail underneath you, curving your back the other way, looking down into your lap. Breathing in, tilting the pelvis, sticking the tail out, lifting the chest, looking up. And as you breathe out, tilting the pelvis the other way, like you're tucking your tail and looking down. A few more of those in your breathing speed. As you tilt the pelvis, begin the breath. So if you're sticking your tail out, that's when your in-breath starts. Let the ripple go down your spine. And the last thing that happens at the end of your in-breath is your head looks up. And then you start to breathe out as you tuck your tail. Your back curls forwards. And just as your out-breath finishes, you're looking into your lap. So it's very slow, quite mindful moving, exploring how the back is feeling in its forward bend and its back bend. After your next in-breath, where you're sitting up and looking forwards, making that your last one, easing back to your sitting position where your back is upright. Shuffle yourself towards the front of your chair. You want a little bit of space. And anchor your feet firmly onto the floor. Notice that if you really push your feet into the floor, you can get a bit of firmness into your thighs. So we can get the legs working without actually having to pay any more attention to them by pushing the feet into the floor. Let's bring the arms up at shoulder height. One palm up, one palm down, and roll the palms of your hands 360 degrees, right the way round, and encourage that movement to be into your shoulder joint. It is quite easy to keep the lower part of your arm, the upper part of your arm still as the lower part moves around, just the hand. But we're interested in moving right up into the shoulder to free it up a touch. Super. So after a few of those, bringing your fingertips onto your shoulders, elbows out to the side. Imagine they're crayons and you're drawing circles on the wall, and let the little circling action get as big as your shoulders want them to, and you can explore where that movement is. And it's your movement. There is no expectation that it goes anywhere in particular. Go back the other way. See if it feels different to circle your shoulders the other way. The elbows don't want to come up in the air. They don't have to. They can be here. They can be circling around. It's exploring the movement that you have. Lovely. And then release and give everything a little bit of an ease. So push your feet into the floor. Dangle your arms down by your side. Roll your palms to face away from you. And lift your arms up and away behind you. So they're not coming out to the side, they're going away behind you. So side view, the arm comes here as opposed to out to the side. So we get expansion across the front of the chest. We get some movement here. Quite often we're this way doing things we want to ease across the front of the chest. Draw the backs of your hands towards one another. Notice then your shoulder blades move towards one another. Notice that the other thing that might happen is a big arch in your lower back. Draw your tummy button towards your spine so that you're not overarching into your lower back. Super. And then let your arms dangle. Give them a bit of a roll. So we're going to bring the arms up. I'm just coming forwards to show you you're staying sitting. Arms are at shoulder height. We're bending at the elbows. And we're bringing the elbows together, the palms of the hands together. Brilliant. Squeeze your elbows together. So as soon as you start to super squeeze your elbows together, you notice your upper back working. So that's what we're after. Possibly you deepen this a little bit by lifting the fingers up towards the ceiling, but keep squeezing the elbows together. Doesn't have to be a big lift at all. It's a notional lift. It's simply the connection from the mind to the arms, that's what you're asking them to do. Whether they do it or not doesn't matter. We're just asking them to make a little bit of effort to do this. Breathe. Brilliant. And then release. Roll your shoulders. Take your hands behind you, interlace your fingers. Roll your shoulders back, squeeze your shoulder blades together, squeeze your elbows together, and take your arms away from your body a little bit. Sometimes means you go side onto the chair if the arms come up a lot. Depends what movement you have in your shoulders. Brilliant. Bring the arms down, release. Bring the arms up in front, bend at the elbows, bring the elbows together. So before we had the palms of the hands together, this time put the backs of the hands together. So it's just that sort of action and then backs of the hands together. Okay, brilliant. Squeeze your elbows. Breathe, really squeeze your elbows towards one another and then start to lift. Squeeze the backs of your hands together, squeeze your elbows together. Doesn't matter how big the lift is, put the effort into squeezing the elbows together. Encourage the eyebrow centre to uncrinkle. Lovely. Keep squeezing, keep breathing. Lift your hands up a little bit, keep squeezing, keep breathing. Oh, and then release. Roll your shoulders. Take your hands behind you, interlace your fingers. Notice that position and then move your fingers one finger notch. By that I mean this is my ordinary hand hold, so just move it one other way. It's really weird. Feels like you're holding somebody else's hand. Then roll your shoulders back as if you're trying to get them towards one another behind you. Then straighten the arms and move the elbows towards one another. And then take the arms up and away behind you. So there might be a little bit more freedom because of the work that we were doing in front of us. Squeezing your shoulder blades together, lifting those arms if they want to. Brilliant. And release, bring your arms down. Have a roll of your shoulders. Super. Take your arms out to the side, bend at the elbows. So cactus arms. So we're breathing in and breathing out. And breathing in and breathing out. Fantastic. Doesn't matter where the arms come to. Keep your elbows up towards shoulder height if they will. And turn. And back. It's going to be tempting to do this down here. Keep the elbows up. So if the arms come to here, it doesn't matter. Keep the elbows up. And this is the point of movement here. So we're just seeing what we've got. So we work at this point with strength and flexibility. So your arms are at their heaviest, sticking out at shoulder height. So this becomes quite strong, but we're mobilising that joint. Bring your fingers onto your shoulders. Oh, and how lovely this feels after all that work. And a bit of circling back the other way. Super. And release. And give everything a little bit of an ease. So if you have stood up, sit yourself back down again, sit at the front of your chair. Take your focus to your right leg, lift up your kneecap to wherever it wants to go and have some little circles. Brilliant. Circle back the other way. Lovely. Keep that kneecap lifted up in front of you to wherever it wants to go. It doesn't have to be a big lift. Take it out to the side a little bit. Lift it up a little bit. Bring it forwards. Lower it down just a little bit. Lift it up a little bit. Take it out to the side a little bit. Wherever it wants to go. Lower it down just a little bit. Back to centre. Dinky little circles again to ease in both directions and then pop the leg down. Over to the other side, so lifting up with the left. And have a bit of a circling action into your kneecap. This is exploring. What does this side want to do? Does it feel easier? Does it feel tighter? Depends what's happened to that leg. Circle the knee the other way round. Fantastic. Keep it lifted to wherever it wants to stay lifted. Take the knee out to the side. Lift it. Bring it back to centre. Lower it a little bit. Lift it a little bit. Out to the side. Lower it a little bit. Bring it back to centre. And release. and then have a wiggle in any fashion that you want to. So one of the things that happens when we're busy lifting the leg, because it's heavy, is that the back comes forwards because it wants to help out. Why wouldn't it? This is a heavy weight. So we're going to counter that this time with the arms. So let's get the arms ready first. Dangling down by your side, roll the palms out and have a little bit of a lift up and away behind you. So you've rolled your palms out and a little bit of a lift. And then be aware of your right kneecap and lift it up just a touch. And breathe. So all of the things that I'm going to offer now are just a working towards. It doesn't have to happen. So we squeeze the backs of the hands together a touch more. We lift the arms a little bit. We lift the knee just a little bit. Tempting at this point to hold your breath. So breathe. Draw up on your pelvic floor muscles. If you're not sure what they are, imagine stuck in a car in a traffic jam and you wish you were at the service station. Just hold on to those muscles, tummy button towards your spine, back to the hands towards one another, lift a little bit more, lift the knee. Breathe. Lower the arms and then lower the leg. Super. Let's try the other side. So set the arms first, dangling your arms, rotating them out, lifting them up and away behind you a little bit. Focus on your left kneecap, up it comes, and breathe. Draw your tummy button towards your spine, lift up on your pelvic floor muscles. This is where we get to notice how wonderfully wonky our bodies are because one leg will work so differently to the other, and that's fine, it just is. Back to the hands together, lift the arms, lift the leg if it wants to, breathe. Gets really tempting to hold your breath. So pull up on your pelvic floor muscles. The more you work those, you don't need your tummy muscles as much, it gives you space to breathe. Back to the hands, come together, lift the arms a little bit, lift the leg a little bit. Breathe. Know that it's nearly over. Fantastic. Lower your arms. Lower that leg. Slide your hands to your knees. A little bit of cat movement to ease. So cat movement. Tail sticks out. Head looks up. And then tuck your tail and look down. So you're taking your back from a back bend shape as you breathe in and look up to a forward bend shape as you breathe out and look down. It's quite nice and easing for the back. Super. A couple more of those. Lovely. And after your next in-breath with cat, then we'll take hold of a belt. I'm going to get you to pop the belt, the strap, onto your right shoulder. Okay, so it just dangles over the right shoulder. So before we start to use the belt, let's just play about with the arms a little bit more. You're going to bring the arms up in front of you, turn your right palm up, and then lift the arm, bend the elbow, and put the hand onto the top of your back. Okay? So it's there. I won't worry about the belt at the minute. Your left hand, you can either bring it across the body and help ease that elbow up, or you can take the arm behind your head and ease that up. It just depends on the flexibility in your shoulders. This might be better. This might be okay as well. It just depends. Brilliant. So we simply notice. This is the place where I would get people to notice
notice where their elbow is relative to the top of their head for if they want to do a headstand. Because if your elbow doesn't come above your head, you will be on your head, whereas otherwise you'll be on your elbow. So we're not doing a headstand, by the way, just so you can, whew, thank goodness. And then ease. Arms come up again. Left palm up. Take your arm up in the air, then bend at the elbow and bring that hand to the upper back. Then your right arm either just has a little nudge here or goes behind and has a little easing. Whatever works for you. Super. And release. So there's a posture called cow. Yeah, it's kind of cow/bull. Because you end up doing both. You get horns with your legs, which we're not doing, but we're doing the ears with our arms. So we're going to use the strap for this one, okay? So you bring your arms up. You've got the strap on your right shoulder. Bring your arms up in front. Turn the right palm up. You take the arms straight up, bend at the elbow, and it allows you to find the strap, and you can hold it a little bit. Your left arm, turn the thumb to face down. So we've been doing this action earlier to get some mobility here. So with the thumb facing down, as you sweep the arm around your back, turn the palm away and then turn the palm up to the ceiling so you can wiggle this hand up your back and find the strap. So you can hold the strap. You might find fingers and interlace your fingers. It depends on what's going on in your shoulder. The right elbow's wiggling up to the ceiling. Make sure that you're not yanking into your neck. Hold the strap if it feels like you're pulling into your neck. Don't worry about where the right elbow is in space. We're working towards. And we're holding the strap if we need the strap. Brilliant. And then release. Sometimes this arm behind your back gets a bit stuck. You can bring the other arm down and just gently ease that arm out. And then have a bit of a move of your shoulders to free them up again. Super. Let's swap shoulder. So the strap goes onto your left shoulder. So arms come up, left palm faces the ceiling, take the arm up in the air, bend the elbow and bring the hand so you can locate the strap. Right arm, turn the thumb to face the floor, and then as you sweep that arm around, you get the palm facing away and you bring your hand to the strap. And one side always different to the other. So tight side, loose side, injuries that have happened. Wiggling that left elbow up to the ceiling. Lovely. And noticing. Thinking about the body being upright. So when we sit and we do this one, there's a bit of a tendency to do that. Know that your back and your hands get further and further apart. If we can sit upright, the hands are a little bit closer together. Brilliant. And then release. If the hand behind you gets stuck, just let it come down and roll into your shoulders a little bit and ease. Super. So we don't need the strap now, we'll put that down for a moment. So sitting to the front of your chair and taking your knees wide apart. As you take your knees wide apart, move your feet as well. So sometimes if our feet are just placed and we take the knees wide apart, we're not really using our feet very well. Wander them out
So your ankles are under your knees. And as you look at your feet, the angle that your feet are pointing is the same angle as the direction that your thigh bone is travelling in, okay? As opposed to your toes being tucked in or further out. Brilliant. Sitting tall. Take your arms out to the side. Lovely. Have an in-breath. And then with an out-breath, side bending, so you windmill your arms and breathe in, come back to centre. Breathe out, side bend the other way. Doesn't matter where your arms come to, breathe in, come back to centre. Breathe out, side bend. Notice it's your spine side bending, you push your feet into the floor. Breathe in, come back, and breathe out, go the other way. Super. And breathe in, come back, take your arms down, have a little roll. So the other thing to be aware of when you're side bending is the lightness on the opposite side. So you might squish down on one buttock and the other buttock might want to come up and be light. So this time we're going to do one more to each side, noticing that your glute muscles stay evenly weighted down into the chair. So sit yourself tall, breathe in. As you breathe out, windmilling the arms, side bending, push the feet into the floor, keep both glute muscles evenly weighted. Pause here just for a moment, breathing, reaching for the ceiling. And your next in-breath, windmill yourself back. Lovely. We're going to go to the other side. So after an in-breath, breathe out and sway and windmill your arms. Keep the breath going, hold the position here, reach for the ceiling with the arm that's up in the air. Breathe. Whenever you next breathe in, come back to centre. Super. So it doesn't matter which way you go. Next out breath, windmill again, any which way. The arm that's dangling down by the chair, bring the elbow to rest on that thigh. Reach the other arm up to the ceiling. The arm that's up in the air, an inch at a time, with your out breath, take the arm towards your head. So each out breath, a little movement of that arm towards the head. Notice each glute muscle, keep them beautifully anchored onto the chair, so you get this lovely lengthening down the side of the body. You can move that arm as close to the head as you want to, using your out breath and moving an inch at a time. Wonderful. To come out of this, you breathe in and reach for the ceiling. Have an out breath and breathe in, bring the arms back. Absolutely fine to roll your shoulders. Your arms are incredibly heavy when they're out at that height, but it's lovely and strengthening. When you're ready to, we're going to go to the other side. So you breathe in, you breathe out and side bend. The arm that's dangling down by the side of the chair, bring the elbow onto that thigh or the forearm. Reach for the ceiling with the other arm. And then again, with each out breath, let the arms slowly lower towards the head. So it might move an inch with each out breath. So we explore, where does it want to go, using the out breath. And not letting the arm be too floppy. Reach, because you get a bit more length down that side. And taking the arm as close to that ear as your body wants you to, as long as you can breathe. Most important part of this, isn't it, really?
Fantastic. And when you're ready to come out, this might be exactly what your body needs, so you can come out of this much more slowly. When you're ready to come out, breathe in, reach up, have an out breath, breathe in, windmill the arms back, and breathe out, lower them down, and roll. Super. So let's, just for a bit of freedom from the back of your chair, turn side onto your chair, interlace your fingers behind you, roll your shoulders back, straighten your arms, bring your elbows towards one another, and take the arms up and away behind you. And bring your arms back down, and roll your shoulders. Super. So can I get you all to turn to face the left side of your chair? So what you end up with is your left leg sitting on the chair, your right leg is just positioned off the front of the chair, your right glute muscle is dangling off the front of the chair, your left glute muscle resting on the chair. Make sure you hold the chair for stability. So we're going to explore what we can do with our right leg, okay? So you can just walk that foot away and dangle the knee to the floor. Then you can notice this position here with the right angle at the knee. If you move that heel away, you can ease that thigh backwards and forwards. So we get a bit of length in front of the leg. So when we do a lot of sitting, some of these muscles that connect here get a little bit short or tight. Super. So if this feels okay, you could move your foot further away behind you and move that heel a little bit more. So for those of you that are very familiar with Warrior One, this will start to feel familiar again. But it's absolutely fine that this leg goes to wherever is the right place for you. It might go a long way behind you and get quite straight. And you can drive that heel away and get lots of length at the front of your right leg. It can stay bent, it can stay with the knee facing the floor. So wherever your right foot is, encourage your toes to be tucked under enough that you're finding the ball of your foot. Notice you might have leaned a bit towards the back of the chair, so let the right side of your pelvis become level with the left side. Keep hold of the chair and take your right arm up into the air if that feels okay, and you can push your feet into the floor and think, yeah, I feel reasonably stable here, so it's okay to take my left arm up. You can bring your left arm up into the air as well. If when you go to take your hand from the chair you think, nah, I'm going to fall, then don't. It's just one arm is fine, or the hand onto the waist. Either is absolutely fine. Push your feet really firmly into the floor and notice you can just lighten that sense of the sitting position on the chair a touch. And lower yourself down, lower your arms down, take hold of the back of the chair and ease your right leg back in. And then we'll go to the other side. So swapping sides. So this time it's the whole of your right leg resting on the chair. Brilliant. And you've got hold of the back of the chair. So your left leg, let it dangle just to see what that feels like. Then a little bit of a moving of the heel away to see what length we've got here. This is absolutely fine to stay at this point. Just have a bit of lengthening. Sitting tall. So we explore, where does that leg want to go?
Brilliant. What we might do is then reach it away a little bit more and tuck the toes under and move the heel away. That's it. So the kneecap's facing the floor. It's going to be tempting to have it out here somewhere, but turn the leg so that what you've got is the front of your thigh and your pelvis facing the same way as your chest and your gaze, and the back of you and the back of the thigh and the heel facing away from you. Brilliant. And then you work at easing that heel away to wherever it feels all right for you. Okay? Depends on all sorts of things. Ball and socket joint, thighs. Once you're in that position with wherever the leg wants to go, push the feet into the floor just a touch. You can find a bit of lightness in your sitting position. You can hold that lightness if your legs are feeling strong. You could sit yourself back down firmly into the chair. Notice your pelvis might be a bit wonky because we lean to the back of the chair because that makes it so much easier to find space for the leg. So ease the left side of the pelvis down a touch. You become level. Left arm might come up. Push your feet into the floor. If it feels okay to take your right arm up, then take your right arm up. It's absolutely fine to hold on to the back of the chair. You do the thing that feels the safest. Push your feet into the floor, working your legs a little bit. Fantastic. So bring the arms down, sit yourself firmly into the chair, hold on to the back of the chair and move that left leg back. Pivot yourself round to face the front of your chair so you can have a little bit of that cat move. So your imaginary little tail sticks out, chest lifts, breathing in. Tuck your imaginary little tail and look down. A little bit of moving in cat to ease. Super. So we're going to move that another stage and add a different arm movement into it, okay? So if I can get you to face the left side of your chair, so you've got your left thigh, hold on to the back of the chair, right thigh, right glute muscle is kind of hanging off the front of the chair, okay? And it's absolutely fine that the knee points down to the floor. This is exactly the position that your ball and socket joint would be in if you're standing up. So standing up is fine, the leg here can be comfy and dangling. Then what we're doing is working the heel away behind us a little bit. It's not out to the side, it's not turned, it's not rotated, it's moving backwards in space. Tuck your toes under, try to find a bit of the ball of your foot in whichever position that you're in, because that gives you more option to push your feet into the floor and feel stronger. Lower the right side of your pelvis slightly so you're level, make sure you're sitting comfortably on the chair. Push your feet into the floor. So absolutely fine to stay here. Absolutely fine to work with one arm up in the air. Absolutely fine to have your hand on your waist and being controlled and strong in this position. If both hands are happy to not be connected with the chair, take your arms behind you, interlace your fingers, roll your shoulders away behind you, lift your arms up and away a touch, and lean forwards and take your hands up to the ceiling. Push your feet into the floor, you're looking at your left big toe. When you want to come out of this, lower your arms onto your lower back, breathe in, sit the body up, hold on to the chair to make sure you move safely and bring the leg back, and we'll turn to the other side. Brilliant. So it's your right leg, whole of the back of the thigh, resting on the chair, right glute on the chair, Left leg, left glute, just not connected with the chair at the moment at all. Hold on to the back of the chair. So perhaps the left leg dangles. Perhaps we ease it away behind us a touch. Second time you come here, you think, oh yeah, okay, the body remembers this. It remembers how to get there. So everything faces the same way as if you're standing up. Front of the thigh, front of the shin, all pointing in the same direction as the front of your body. Even though the leg's bent, it's still facing that way. Brilliant. Lower the left side of your pelvis down so you get a bit level and not leaning to the back of the chair. Push your feet into the floor. That's how you're going to get the firmness in your thighs to feel like you can be here safely. So absolutely fine, hands on hips, hands up. If you prefer to be there, be there. If you want to play about with arms, you take your hands behind you, interlace your fingers. Maybe you do it the wonky way, like you're holding somebody else's hand, just for that extra brain challenge. Roll your shoulders back, squeeze your elbows together, and take the arms away and fold forwards, lifting the arms up. If you want to, push your feet into the floor, lift the arms, breathe. Don't hold it any longer than you want to. When you're ready to come out, arms come onto your lower back. Push your feet into the floor, lift your body. Release the hands, hold on to the chair. Ease yourself back round. Sit right at the front of your chair. Have your knees a little bit wide. Make sure your ankles are under your knees. And a wide leg cat. So you can really get the back moving. It's a little bit easier, I think, with the knees a touch wide apart. So you've got your little tail sticking out, lift the chest. And then curl and look down. Breathe in, lift, breathe out, curl forwards. Super. After your next in-breath, then shuffle yourself into your comfy sitting position. If you need anything under your feet, then do to find that comfy sitting position. Shuffle your bottom back into the chair, sit tall. So the thing that I have under my feet is simply to make my legs a bit longer, or make it be that this chair is not a touch too big for me and I can sit upright. Lovely. Let's move a little bit into the upper back after all that work across the upper back. So we're going to float the arms up, and they really are floppy. Okay, so these are kind of like sails of your windmill, and this is the building that's just going to stay where it is. If you look up and gaze at your hands, gaze at your right hand, have an in-breath. And as you breathe out, just take your arm away behind you, keep looking at the hand, sweep the arm down by your side, looking at the hand. When your arm comes down by your side, start to breathe in and lift the arm back up. Left hand, breathe out, take it away behind you, gaze at the hand, arm dangles down by your side, breathe in, lift the arm back up. So it's very soft, and go from one side to the other. Breathe out, take the arm away behind you, breathe in to lift it up in front, and swap sides. So a little bit of easing into your upper back after that strong work with the shoulders and the arms. Lovely. Next time you do your left arm, making that your last one, and float your arms down into your lap. Let your arms settle, your hands settle anywhere in your lap that feels right. Closing your eyes. Imagine the crown of your head reaching up to the ceiling. And using a sighing out breath to let the body feel heavy. So we can create these wonderful opposites. Your out breath can allow you to feel really heavy in your sitting position, and your in breath can allow you to feel wonderfully light. Be aware of that tingly, glowy sensation of all the energy of moving, working hard in those muscles, and noticing that that tingly, glowy sensation softens and eases and gently fades away as we use our out breath to let the body settle in our sitting position. Allow your tummy muscles to soften. Allow your breath to deepen, like you take it all the way down into your abdomen. So you notice that your abdomen is moving with your in and your out breath. After your next out breath, gently opening your eyes. As you breathe in, next taking your arms wide and low and lifting them up with your in-breath. Bring the palms of your hands together, lowering your hands with an out breath to your heart center in Anjali Mudra. Namaste everybody, lovely to see you. See you all soon.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Just in case anybody wants a quick little update about Jeannie,